So this evening is the beginning of this retreat. Everybody's come from many places and assembled here at the Spirit Rock Center, and developing an attitude of reflection, of awakened awareness, or intuitive awareness. And the word meditation, of course, is a word that's used for almost any kind of mental exercise or training. But when I use the word meditation, English word meditation, I really mean I'm equating it or aligning it with the Pali word bhavana. And this bhavana is translated as development or cultivation of the pa. So during this retreat, see it as an opportunity to cultivate the path, even though you may not understand what that path is, or have all kinds of views, opinions, and doubts about it, or your understanding of it, or insight into it. The essence of Buddhism, the very essential, that is, the Buddha emphasized, was mindfulness, or a Pali word sati, can be translated as mindfulness, awareness, attention, paying attention, awakened attention. It's an attitude of openness and receptivity. There's not a kind of concentrated state which you shut everything out, but you're opening yourself to the world, the conditions that are happening, that you are experiencing at this very present moment. The aim of this bhavana is always to recognize that here and now is where experience is. The attitude of practicing now in order to get something in the future. This is a creation of your mind. This is an artifice, an attitude, an idea that you can be committed to blindly, thinking that on this retreat we're here to practice meditation in order to get something in the future, get some desired result in the future. Just the attitude that we have about ourselves in the present. How many of you see yourself in terms of, a person, an ego, a personality, a separate entity, a being that has many flaws and faults, needs to practice and develop Buddhist meditation in order to become enlightened in the future? This is also a delusion. Whatever you conceive yourself to be, and whether it's on the positive or the negative side, that you are not. It's a creation it's what you create out of ignorance, out of not seeing the Dhamma. So this word, the Dhamma, means it's best translated into English is the truth of the way it is. So the attitude of awareness allows us to be the witness to the way it is, rather than a person trying to get something or get rid of something. So during this retreat, we just recognize the situation you're in. This is a very good venue, a very good place to be. It's deliberately built and developed in order to accommodate opportunities like this, like we have during this week, to practice, to develop, cultivate the path. So as the schedule has been decided, when to get up, when to meet, when to sit, when to walk, or when you can eat your meals, when you can rest, when you can go to sleep. Everything's decided for you. And so see the value of this. It makes your life much more easy here. You don't have to make a lot of decisions and choices about what you want to do or during the day. Just determine to kind of surrender to the schedule, to the form that we've decided upon. The food is provided, and so you don't have to think about the food or what you're going to cook or what you want to eat. Just whatever food there is, that's good enough. So you don't have to think about food or what you're going to do. The attitude of just wearing something comfortable, modest clothing, not here to attract other people or to compete in terms of fashion. We're here in this silent retreat so that we can be together without feeling obliged to talk to each other, chat to each other, have conversations and that with each other during this 10-day retreat. So by remaining silent means that we can enjoy each other's company in silence rather than feeling obliged to entertain each other with our scintillating conversations. And the aim of this is, the main purpose of this is awareness then. So the whole form, the schedule that we have, the place that we're in, you'll be taking the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts. This is another form in terms of behavior, speech, attitude. But all this is pointing at awareness, to wake up and observe and witness, not criticize or try to analyze or figure out anything, but trust your ability to just be aware of what is happening for you at this time. So it's like looking inward, witnessing, observing just how this form, this situation, the conditions that you find yourself in, your own physical condition at this time, emotional state, whatever it is, no matter how healthy, unhealthy, or bright, or dull, or happy, or sad, whatever the conditions you're experiencing might be, the development of the path is to be aware. They are the way they are. So in this way, you're beginning to learn how to be aware, be that awareness itself, not become somebody who's trying to practice awareness, or to see yourself in terms of whether you're really, how aware you really are, and then make judgments about that. But to give up any kind of critical attitudes, not to follow them. If they arise, then be aware of the tendency to make judgments or evaluate things, analyze or criticize. Because this awareness is really the path itself. And the important thing on this retreat is to develop a confidence and a recognition, a knowledge, a realization of the path, the Majjhima Patipata, the middle way, the Eightfold Path, or these kind of words are the usual concepts that we use. And to be able to see through the illusions you create out of just habit, out of ignorance, not understanding the truth of the way it is, we create a world that we live in that is very separative and isolating. The more we obsess ourselves with our own delusions, then the more we suffer. We create the suffering and the world of suffering that we're living in. So the aim of the Buddhist practice is to free ourselves from that delusion, to awaken to the Dhamma, or the truth of the way it is, through awareness. And this awareness then is the Buddha. The word Buddha, the word itself means awakened consciousness. Human being, a human entity, like yourself, that is awake and aware. So taking refuge in Buddha is not taking refuge in some kind of exotic sage of the past, or in some kind of abstract idea of Buddha energy circulating around in the universe, or any other creation of your mind. It is it's a very immanent attentiveness here and now that you're taking refuge in. That's what is the Buddha that you take refuge in. So we say, Bhutang Saranang Gacchami. Now, from beginning of my Buddhist monastic life, I say Bhutang Saranang Gacchami is like, this is a Theravada tradition, and you do this, take refuge in the Buddha, but it was still done in almost a ceremonial form, not really understanding it in its profundity. It seemed like just part of the package you get when you become a Theravadan Buddhist monk. You say, Bhutang Saranang Gacchami. But then over the years, really developing this awareness, Buddha, taking refuge in the Buddha, wasn't just ceremonial chants, but it is much more profound, much more practical than that, which is, it's a reminder, isn't it? It's a kind of determination to trust yourself, really, in awareness. You're not calling upon some idealized Buddha or abstract idea Buddha to help you, but it's a reminder, like this Buddha image on the shrine. When you look at this Buddha rupa, this Buddha image, see it as, it's just suggesting to every time you look at it, wake up, pay attention. So it is an icon and a religious image. How you use it, is up to you. If you can decide how you want to use a Buddha image. You can judge them aesthetically, whether you think they're beautiful or not, or whatever. You might be an expert on Buddha rupas and whether know what the best ones are and so forth, and get caught in the critical faculty. But that's not the point of this retreat. It's to use everything around us for a reminder, because the problem is we forget. We're so easily lost in our own beliefs, our own attachments, our own worlds that we create. So in this retreat, see, like just looking at me in the robes, or the monks, or the nun, these as not in personal ways so much. Don't try to create, a lot of preferences, likes, or criticisms around the person, but see even the color of the robe, the shaven head, as a reminder of awareness. Wake up is the essence of Buddhism. One time somebody asked me that, could you define Buddhism in one sentence? And I said, with great confidence, I said, I can define it with one word. I said, what's that? Awake. So it's like an imperative or an invitation. They wake up, awake, pay attention. This liberation is now. Awareness is now. Freedom is now. It's not, any idea that that you hope to free yourself in the future. It's something you're creating now. So, as you begin to recognize, now the important thing is to recognize this, because even though awareness is a natural state, it's not a created, refined state that you've never had, or if you were never mindful, you'd be dead by now. To be mindful to survive, but we don't recognize awareness, mindfulness. We don't value it. We don't cultivate it. Sometimes life itself forces us. When you're driving a car, you're compelled to use awareness. It's because of the danger involved, the conditions. When your life is in danger, when you're physically threatened by something, you naturally become awake and aware. You don't have time to worry about tomorrow or what people think of you anymore. It's just immediate, how to deal with immediate survival and danger. But like so many of us, brought up in societies where there's, quite a large measure of security and safety, where we can really sit in our comfortable homes and worry about everything, become totally heedless and neurotic, because middle-class existence allows us this privilege. And so you can see in affluent countries, there's the middle class, especially whatever country, wherever they happen to exist, there's increasing amount of alcoholism, drug addiction, suicide, just mental breakdowns, and on like this. Why is that? Why don't, in third world countries, why aren't they so neurotic? Because when your life is dependent on just survival, you have to use a lot more awareness and wisdom to survive. Where in the comforts of democratic societies and middle class ethos, we don't have that kind of urgency in our lives. So, and I'm not complaining about that or even criticizing, but just seeing the opportunity we have here of developing awareness, not because of any danger. This place is seemingly quite safe, and everybody will be under the precepts. So we've even speech and just relating to each other in an honorable, trustworthy way. So, in terms of human society at this time, living together as a human community, we're bringing all that is good and trustworthy and honorable into our consciousness. The intentions and the purpose of this is not to exploit you or take advantage or in any way, but to give us all the opportunity for this kind of cultivation, this bhavana. So just to reflect on this, to be conscious of this opportunity, it is special. It's not ordinary life. It's a special situation. So you also have to remember that this is a special situation. So then the 8 precepts are kind of moral precepts or renunciate precepts. And that means it's more towards simplifying our, life, our way we live here together. The first precept is, non-violence, to refrain from any intentional violent activity. So banadibata in Pali means to refrain from intentionally harming something. It actually means not to kill another human being with intention. But because you are so morally advanced and mindful, we can bring this into a grounded perspective of non-violence, not to act violently with intention, harming anything with intention. Respect life of other creatures and the environment that we're living in. Then adinadana, the refrain to respect the property, the retreat center here, the property of other people, not to even borrow it without asking, or even misuse the facilities here in any intentional way, but to develop a sense of respect and for that which belongs to others. Then the third precept of brahmacharya, this is during this retreat, to refrain from any kind of intentional sexual activity. So taking responsibility for this kind of energy, this human energy that we all experience, the sexual energy, during this retreat is not to follow it and act upon it, but if it does arise, to be aware of it, to be the witness of it, the knower of it, not the one who follows it. So the brahmacharya. Then the fourth precept is musavara, about being responsible for speech, for what we say. And of course this is a silent retreat, call it noble silence. It's not dumb silence. So noble silence is taking responsibility for our ability to speak. So if it is necessary to speak, to use speech for some reason, then we use that. But we're not just following impulses to chit-chat and just break the silence in order to just, out of some kind of just neurotic need to talk to somebody. But because we use speech so much to distract ourselves or to deal with anxiety, that be aware of this, this impulse, these kind of impulsive tendencies or compulsions to speak and seek contact and speak to somebody. Just to be the observer of it, not the critic. Being responsible for speech, then, even when we do speak, to use it more skillfully rather than, say, or insulting or harming somebody through speech, misleading them or deceiving them. So refraining from any kind of misuse of speech. And the fifth is refraining from any kind of intoxicating drinks or addictive drugs. Speaks for itself. Then the sixth is more like Vikala Pochana, is about not taking solid foods in the afternoon. Now this sometimes people find very difficult. But if you're a Buddhist samana, you're so used to this, you can't figure out why anybody could find that difficult. I find it difficult to eat in the afternoon now. I've been a monk for so long. But it is the attitude towards food. Just recognize your own, how you regard food. Food and eating is another, eating is necessary for survival. It also becomes a way to distract ourselves, just to munch and chew on things and to use food as a distraction. Every time feel a bit ill at ease or anxious or restless, it's so easy to just start eating something. Look forward to the next meal, or always thinking about food is quite common human tendency. To be aware of that, how we relate to food, our obsessions and around sustenance. Not as a critic, but just observing these impulses, these movements of wanting to speak, wanting to eat, wanting to have a drink. All this, is ways that are quite normal for people in society to live their lives with this constant, seeking for distraction. But during this retreat, the aim is not to follow these impulses, but to observe them, receive them, know them. They are what they are, and they arise and they cease. So your relationship to them is one of knowing them for what they are, rather than identifying and judging them about whether you're taking them personally or criticizing yourself because you have these impulses you're experiencing. But your refuge is in Buddha, so you're the knower of them. You're not the owner of them anymore. Then in the seventh is refraining from dancing, singing, going to shows, watching television, dressing up, and so forth. And there's nothing immoral about any of this. So this isn't a moral precept. It's a renunciate precept. It's a determination to give up this other way of distracting ourselves to seek entertainment. But we can certainly be aware of those impulses to do so. The knower of these, to see them in terms of Dhamma. They are what they are. But we, because of this taking of the 8 precepts, where it helps us to observe them in a way that we might not do if we didn't have the precepts. And then the last one is Ujjasayana Mahasayana, which is really means to refrain from sleeping all the time, because that's another distraction, isn't it? Where if we can't eat, we can't sing or dance, we can't talk. What's left is sleep. You sleep your way through this retreat. But it is encouraged not to do that, not to just. We can be aware of maybe that longing, or when we can't stand, when we feel fed up and we just want to escape from it all. One way of doing it is falling asleep. So these 8 precepts help us to put these kind of very human tendencies into perspective, and they're not moral judgments or criticisms of yourself personally, because your refuge now is not in your personality and your identity with your body or your emotions, your ego, but your real identity is the awareness, the Buddha knowing the Dhamma. The Sangha, the human individual practicing Dhamma, knowing Dhamma, seeing Dhamma, cultivating and developing the path, pavana. Now this is, it's an opportunity and the thing that what I hope will happen during this retreat is that you will develop more confidence in the path, more confidence in your own ability to develop and cultivate this way. Because so many people practice meditation, including monks and nuns that I live with, have no confidence. They're still trying to get this or get rid of that. They're still caught in the delusions that they create, even with Buddhist ideas. So in trying to break through this, it's not difficult or an impossible task. It's just, learning to recognize this simple ability, natural ability we have as human beings, to be awake and aware, to pay attention here and now, and see and know things as they are, to be responsible for how we live in the society. We're not just going along, with whatever, but we have this sense of responsibility for what we do, how we use our bodies, how we use our ability to speak, our speech. So on the level of worldly dhammas and life in a community, then these kind of moral precepts, renunciate precepts, our good intentions, and all this are the vehicle that we can use for living in the world, in the society, without being lost in this world, in this society. Because we're cultivators of the path through awareness and through wisdom, panya. So the Pali word panya is wisdom. And this wisdom then is quite a natural wisdom. It's a universal wisdom. It's not personal. It's not like I can claim it, that I have wisdom as some kind of personal achievement. The more I let go of the world and release myself from the delusions of a self, then wisdom is quite natural to this state of attentiveness, of awareness. So we're learning to return to a natural state that we've forgotten because we've created all kinds of illusions out of ignorance and conditioning. So hopefully this retreat will help you and encourage you. I see this is what I'm trying to do here is encourage you to try to, what I say during this retreat, the kind of reflections I give, or what they call them teachings or whatever, they're meant as encouragement, to really pointing and saying, you can do it, wake up, pay attention, and trust yourself more, and don't believe all the things you think about yourself, or about Buddhism, or about anything at all. They're learning to recognize and take refuge in a pure, natural state of being that you can really trust. And that's the only thing that is trustworthy that I've found in my life as a Buddhist monk. I have 40 years now of contemplating Dhamma, so I'm very confident now that this is the only thing I can trust, is the awareness. Because any time I've tried to trust anything else, even Buddha's teachings or teachers or traditions or conventions, on that realm they're all unsatisfactory. You can't trust them as a refuge. But learning to use them, learning to use the conventions for awakened attention, for awareness, for enlightenment, for nibbana. So I'll stop here and I'll give you the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts if somebody requests them. If somebody requests them, I won't give them. Which one? The talk? Or full? Huh? tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. So now you've taken the three reps. You say it 3 times, so that makes it more firm in your consciousness. Everything's in 3s. So you use this Dutiyampi 2nd time, Tatiyampi 3rd time. So this is now firmly established in your consciousness, isn't it? I can tell. Titsarana gamanang nititang. Amavante. You say, yes, it is. That's Amabante. The first one about non-violent action. Vana dibata veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Second one is respect for that which property and conditions that belong to others. Adina dana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. The third, refraining from any intentional sexual activities. Apramacharya veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Fourth one around speech, being responsible for our speech and, of course, intention to respect the noble silence. Mutsavada veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. The fifth is refraining from taking intoxicants and addictive drugs. Sura meraya machabama tatana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. The sixth is about food, not taking solid foods in the afternoon. Vikala pochana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. The seventh around not seeking entertainments, distractions. Najakita vatita vitsukha dasana malagantha vilebana dharana mantana vipusana dhana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. And then the eighth one is around sleep, not to seek a comfortable place to spend this retreat crashed out. Ujjasayana mahasayana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Then repeat 3 times. Imani atta sikkhabadani samadhiyami. Imani atta sikkhabadani silena sukhatinyanti silena bhoga sambadha silena niputinyanti dattma silang vitsodhaye.